Hi, this is Michael from DNA, and in the next few minutes we're going to look at some strategies for proofreading using a text-to-speech program. Now I'm going to be using a very common text-to-speech program called Claroread, but remember this video aims to get you thinking about proofreading strategies, and you can replicate a lot of what I'm doing in most text-to-speech programs, including some free ones that you can download. For links to those free programs and free sets of voices, have a look back at the first video in this series, Introduction to Text-to-Speech. Okay, so here we are in Microsoft Word, and we have Claroread running here in the middle of the screen. Now, most text-to-speech programs will look like this. It'll be a bar that floats around above your copy of Word, or you can drag it and dock it to the top of the screen. I'm just going to leave it here for the minute. So first of all, you'll probably want to go in and have a look at the different voices that are available. Now, to give you an example of how the software works when you set it up initially, let's just listen back to maybe the first sentence in this document.
Eric Arthur Blair, who used the pen name George Orwell, was an English novelist, essayist, journalist and critic.
Okay, now you'll notice that it highlights the sentence at the same time. The voice that was playing there was a voice called Daniel, which tends to ship with most of these programs. But if you wanted to change the features of the voice, you can always go into Settings. And there'll always be a feature similar to this in other text-to-speech programs. And here we can see we've got a voice option, and we can look at lots of different voices. Now, in the introductory video, I did mention the fact that there are some free voices that are available. These TechDisk voices are available to any students who are post-16 learners. So have a look at the link in the first video. And I'll just demonstrate these voices actually. Let's have a look at Jack. Now you can always test a voice using this interface.
This is a test of the current voice.
And you can increase or decrease the speed and the volume. We're going to come back and look at these settings in a minute because we want to think about optimizing the settings for proofreading. So let's just have a listen back, maybe to the next sentence with the Jack voice.
This work is marked by lucid prose, awareness of social injustice, opposition to totalitarianism, and commitment to democratic socialism. Orwell's work continues.
Now I deliberately let it move on to the next paragraph there because there's a very simple change you'll want to make if you're proofreading, and that is to go into Settings and to click on this Stop After Sentence button. And the reason for that is, you can hear that the voices are a bit synthetic, and after a while, when you're listening back to your essay, it can be easy to zone out. By ticking this button, Stop After Sentence, and there's a similar feature available in Text Help, you're actually stopping and thinking about what you've just heard and making a decision about the sentence before moving on to the next one. If that feature doesn't appear in your particular program, it can just be useful to be mindful of the need to stop after each sentence. Otherwise, it's very easy to zone out when you're proofreading. So now, if I choose a sentence and click on play.
This work is marked by lucid prose, awareness of social injustice, opposition to totalitarianism, and commitment to democratic socialism.
And then it stops. Now, just as a quick example, I've taken that same sentence and I've taken all the punctuation out. So when you're listening back sentence by sentence, you're going to be very aware of when the voice sounds really quite robotic indeed. And the chances are that the reason it sounds robotic is because there isn't enough punctuation, or the punctuation is simply in the wrong place. So I've changed back to the Daniel voice. Let's have a quick listen to this.
Eric Arthur Blair, who used the pen name George Orwell, was an English novelist, essayist, journalist and critic. His work is marked by lucid.
Yeah, that's quite enough of that. Hopefully that demonstrates that if you haven't got full stops and commas in the right place in your paragraphs and sentences, then what you're listening out for is a voice that sounds like it's got the biggest set of lungs in the world. It's just going to keep on talking without breathing. So listening to the quality of the voice can be a very effective way of interrogating whether the punctuation is in the right place. Obviously now you can hear whether your ideas are in the right place. And additionally, as it highlights the entire sentence, it's a good way of telling whether your sentences are too long. Let's just have a look at this again.
Eric Arthur Blair, who used the pen name George.
So yeah, see, it highlights the entire section of text here, and obviously I've removed all the full stops. So it's a good way of checking visually whether your sentences are too long. If you've set your software to stop after sentence, and when you click play you get a huge great paragraph highlighted, chances are you need to shorten that into fewer sentences. The advantages of doing it this way, of course, is that we're using visual cues, the highlighting, and audio cues, the speech, as opposed to having to read anything to make those decisions about correct punctuation, ordering of ideas, and sentence length.